This meeting is being recorded.
Wow. All right, so welcome to the second day of this webinar, cybersecurity webinar. My name still remains Toluwalashe Kumawe, and of course, I hope you enjoyed yesterday's session. All right, so let me look at one of the things we discussed yesterday. We talked about a lot about cybersecurity. We looked at Africa's role, cybersecurity. We talked about the economic aspect, the effect of artificial intelligence, human factor, attack vectors, and all that. And today we'll be working on a whole lot of things. Like I told you the last time, I said we'll be doing a whole lot of work on today's webinar, and that's one of the things we'll be doing. So I'm going to share my slide with you now so that we can see what we'll be talking about today. So let me share the slide. Okay. All right, so yeah, I'm sure you can see my slide now. Great, that's great. So this is a slide. All right, sure you can see this now. Good. All right, so securing Africa's digital future, that's what we talked about last time. So let me just go straight to what we'll be looking at today. We've talked about this yesterday, the dark side of Africa. Africa's under attack. We talked about the cyber threat landscape. We talked about the fraud economy. We looked into a lot of things yesterday, a whole lot of things. So if you missed yesterday, you missed a lot of things. And of course, you can still see the video on our YouTube page. So today we'll be looking at, yes, we'll be looking at building resilience and careers. Building resilience and careers. So we'll be looking at from awareness to action, the organization strategies and your personal roadmap. So I told you yesterday that we'll be talking about now. You understand what cybersecurity is now. How do you now focus on building a career in cybersecurity? How do you go from just knowing about cybersecurity to building an amazing career in cybersecurity? Some of the things we'll be looking at today. So we'll be starting with building a cyber resilience. And we're looking at your cybersecurity career. Then we talk about training and certification. Training and certifications. All right. So the first one is building organizational cyber resilience. We're talking about a lot of African organizations. How exactly has it been for years? We've looked at the fact, the research we have done over the years, and I can tell you that a lot of organizations now need cybersecurity much more than they think. They need cybersecurity. So starting from there, we'll look at this. So there are 4 pillars of cyber defense. What do I mean by cyber defense? I said it yesterday that unlike what a lot of organizations think, you need cybersecurity. Yes, you need it. Every organization needs an aspect of cybersecurity because if you don't have a cybersecurity team, it's very difficult for you to first and foremost have alerts, get to know when issues are happening. That's why we are talking about this now. That's why I brought about the 4 pillars of cyber defense. There has to be a defense. I said it yesterday that the issue is not the attack. The issue is that we lack defense. So today we talk about 4 pillars of cyber defense. The first one is real-time monitoring. Real-time what? Monitoring. Now, what does real-time monitoring mean? Number one, it talks about machine learning. If you are an expert in cybersecurity, you've heard about what we call SIM solutions. SIM solutions like Wazoo, like Splunk, IBM, Porter, and the rest. I don't want to go into details of that because of the people that are non cybersecurity technicals may not really understand this aspect. But these SIM solutions, they are created to have an access to your logs, to have an access to your systems, to have an access to your websites, to have an access to everything you are doing as an organization so that they can monitor in real time if there's an attack coming in or not, if there's something that you are doing that is not supposed to be done. They check it out. So there you have a team that is 24 hours looking at every activity to check if there's a malicious activity here or not. And that's one of the things that UBA has been able to do. And from From one of the things we've been able to discover, we discovered that they were able to reduce fraud loss by 45.35%. Yes. They use intelligence-led monitoring. They monitor accounts, they monitor how things are going on in every aspect of their department. They do segregation. They've done a whole lot by doing real-time monitoring. On the spot monitoring, there are some teams that are monitoring what every department is doing, from account officers to every aspect of the bank. So if you as an organization don't have a team that is doing real-time monitoring, you call it cyber security analyst. If you don't have a cyber security analyst on your team, you will be doing yourself a lot of disfavor. Why? Because when your organization is now finally attacked, hey, I don't know what to say, but you by then would now know the importance of having a cyber security analyst. It's the truth. Another aspect of cyber defense you must have is called threat intelligence. Now, what do we mean by threat intelligence? There's a way you look into patterns. You look into patterns of things. Okay, so and so organization was attacked, and the behavior of the attack was that it was done through one of the staffs. There's a saying in Yoruba. Let me say it in Yoruba first, then I will interpret it in English. That tí ikú bá ń pa ojúgbà ẹni, òwe ńlá ló ń pa fẹ́ni. It means that if death kills your colleague, it's giving you a proverb that is coming for you next. Now, if an organization was attacked and you become aware of it, it means that you need to study the pattern of the attack enough to prepare for that kind of attack from happening to you. That's what we call threat intelligence. Threat intelligence. So you share intelligence across institutions, organizations. That you look at behavioral signals. Okay, an unknown staff was used in the other person's attack. Let's look into all our staffs. Do we have staffs that we don't know? Have we created awareness? So you look at that. That's a behavioral pattern. Then you have predictive models. Okay, this might be happening, that might not be happening. Like you look at behavioral models, you look at you can predict attacks before they happen. Yes, you have data across institutions and check out, okay, it happens to this person this way. What if we are able to prevent it from happening to us? So you can predict from seeing the patterns that happen to others, you can now predict. And the third one is called insider threat control. That is, I talked about insiders. There are people that might give access to people that are outside from coming in. In fact, they might be the ones to even facilitate the attack. So there are many party authorizations that you can set up for high value transactions. Like, okay, let me give you a pattern. For example, if you want to take out 10 million naira, the account officer that you give your instruction to has to ask their line manager for authorization. The line manager will ask for the group head authorization, or the group head authorization will ask for the divisional head authorization. Now, there's no way you are going through these authorizations and there will be no one to say, oh, this thing is wrong, something is wrong here, that thing is wrong here. It helps you from going through any fraud systems. But if the account manager is able to just do it without any authorization, it is easy for that account manager to be attacked and the money is being lost. Fraud happens without stress. So multi-party authorizations for high-value transactions, which actually it helps to create restrictions. There's continuous privilege access monitoring. You are segregating duties. This person is the one that is checking out for this, and that person is the one that is checking out for you. So if an organization has that, you have a lot of defenses. That's what we call depth in a deep depth of defense. I hope we are getting there. So these are one of the things you learn in cybersecurity. It's called the blue team. These are all the blue team aspect. This is what they do to assist you in not allowing attacks to come to your organizations. It's a defense. Then you have strong KYC, you have authentication method. Your website is well structured. You have identity verifications. Now you see that OP. I was doing something recently on OP and I think I wanted to send, was it 600,000 or something, or 1 million? I don't know how much I wanted to send to someone. Okay, I wanted to send 600,000 to someone. To OPay, that's a very high amount of money. So they asked me to open my mouth, to shake my head, look into this. Those things are actually measures. They are measures. They are measures to actually ensure that you have how do I put it now? You have access to verification to be sure the confidentiality is done, to ensure that there's confidentiality, to ensure that there's authentication and it's being verified. Then you have what we call multi-factor verification, 2FA, multi-factor verification. You're able to, okay, this is you. In case the attacker is able to break through your first level of defense, authentication, just like Facebook, if you, after doing your login, there's still a factor of that. I think a token will be sent to you for you to now impute and be verified that, okay, it is still you. Those level of defense might look so strenuous, but they actually help you as an organization, as a person. Your staff must have two-factor verification. We have continuous authentication across all devices. You cannot just allow them have access to things without authenticating it. There must be biometrics signals, their fingerprints, their face recognition. These are things that helps in you defending against attacks. So that's what we call 4 pillars of what cybersecurity. These are frameworks. And across Africa now we have cybersecurity frameworks that are being instituted to detect, to identify, protect, and respond and recover in case there's any issue. That's what we call NIST cybersecurity framework. The job is to identify if there is a malicious attack, they identify it, they protect it, and they dictate, they look into it. Okay, is this false or is it positive attack? We have false and we have positives. Then we have responding. Okay, you either for example, if, let me give you this very bad, a ransomware attack is done to a company, you have a ransomware attack. In this kind of system, what you do first is to identify and trace where the real issue is coming from. If from there you are able to see how many data have we lost, so you protect the ones that are not yet lost. Then from there, you detect where the source is, then you block that off. Then you begin to respond by either removing the network signals, and then you can now decrypt the data, or you go ahead and bring in your backup after removing the worms or Trojan virus that is attacking the system. Then you recover everything that has been lost by bringing in backups, try to set up everybody back to their normal state. Do you get? Then we have ISOs. Everything you're seeing here, yeah, ISO, PCI DSS, they are actually frameworks that has been set to protect and to also assist in ensuring that there's no fraud, there's no attack. Do you get? So it's a system that has been put. But how many companies do we have that are compliant to these systems? How many? Now, I was doing a Azure testing for one I think was it a website, and we had to look into compliance. There are rules that every website must have. But how many of it are compliant? There are rules that every laptops that you're using in your organization must have, but how many of them are compliant? These are things that we check in cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is just not just breaking into your systems to check for vulnerability. We also check, is it compliant to the rules and regulations that are given? Are they compliant to the rules and regulation? So we check into that. Are they working with the right set of rules? Then this on this aspect, what are what CEOs and board must what know? These are questions you must ask in your organization. These are questions you must ask. Number one, do you have a CISO or a dedicated security lead? What CISO means is that the head of security team, someone that can organize your team, that will be able to tell them to do what we call a daily penetration test. They look out for vulnerabilities in your organizations, your website, whatever structures, hardware, software that you have in your organization. So he monitors it, he checks the vulnerabilities, then takes it up and says, okay, let us set rules and regulation. They do playbooks, they do testing, they check out, they do remediation. So what the CISO does is to control and monitor all of these events. So do you have a CISO, or let's say if you don't want to call it CISO, you can call it a dedicated security lead in your company? You must answer that as a CEO. Do you have one? Number two, when was the last time you conducted a penetration test? When was the last time you ever tried to penetrate and check for vulnerabilities? Penetration test is not to break your system, it's just to test for vulnerabilities. Like you are thinking like an attacker. Let's assume that an attacker wants to attack your system. Now, how do you think the attacker will get into your system? How? That's what we call a penetration test. Number three, do you have an incident response plan? Let us assume that an attacker is able to get into your system, organizational systems, your website, and the rest. Do you have an incident response? How do you respond to it? Do you have a team on ground that can respond, or you are now going to start calling for external outsource, and then you start looking for them? Okay, Mr. Tolu, my website has been hacked. I might have a lot of other jobs. Do you have a team on ground? Do you have a consultant that is readily available to consult for your company? That is a cybersecurity consultant. I mean, you understand what I mean? And the fourth one, this was what I was talking about the other time. Are we compliant with the data protection laws? Are we compliant? There are laws that guide data, informations. Are we compliant to these laws? I know banks have compliance teams, but as other organizations, do we have compliance teams that help to check if you are compliant to these data protection laws? Do you have? What is our cyber insurance coverage? Let's assume that there's an attack. Is there an insurance for it? How do you protect people's data? How do you protect people's information? How do you protect people's money? How do you protect people's healthcare data? If there is man in the middle attack, how do you protect people from that? I mean, it is recently that I discovered that the Microsoft 365 Business Premium now have email protection, they have endpoint security protection, identity management. How many organizations use Microsoft 365? Microsoft Teams, yes, how many organizations use? I know banks do use Teams, but how many other organizations use that? If I'm ever going to consult for any organization, one of the things I'm going to set up for your organization is Microsoft Teams. It is protected, it ensures safety. Everybody in your organization must have a Microsoft attached email, because it is email protected. Nobody can hack into your email anyhow. I said you give them access. There's endpoint security, such that they are able to protect your laptops that you are using in your organization against any attack from outside. I mean, in case you don't notice now, there's an aspect of your emails now that if you are doing any attachment, or you are bringing in any if you are sending emails, it can check. Yes, it can check for, how do I put it now, to check if there is a virus or an infected file. Yes, it does that now. For your Gmails, it does that, but that's not enough. That's not enough. So every CEO must be able to answer these 5 questions. Every board member must be able to answer these questions. I hope you're getting me. So now, having understood all of this as a CEO, now how exactly do you want to bring in cybersecurity into your company, or how exactly, as an individual, what do you want to do about cybersecurity? So are we able to structure out what I call your cybersecurity career path. Now, from zero experience to 6-figure salaries. The most now, these are the career paths. We have, of course, the cybersecurity analyst. We have the cybersecurity analyst. Okay. So I'm still going to go over everything I've said before, in case you are not. So let me just go over it. So for the cybersecurity analyst, we have cybersecurity analysts. Those are the guys that are monitoring. And for South Africa, these are how much you are paying. For Nigeria, you should be able to be paid 4 million to 15 million per year. Per year. Per year. For a security engineer, those are the guys that are in charge of the wires, the network engineers, and all that. Knows that the hardware part. I think about 8 million to 5 million per year should be paid for them. For SOC analysts, as the entry aspect, security analysts, 3 million to 8 million per year. So penetration testers, these are big boys. They hack into accounts to check vulnerabilities. You have the CISO. So these are the top guys. So for every African professional, you can earn a whole lot of money while you are living locally. You can work remotely. That's if you are very serious about your job. All right. That's if you are very serious about your job. And you need some specific skills. And you need a core networking skill, you need cloud security, you need to understand your SIM tools, you need to understand how to do incident response, then you need to learn some programming languages like Python, Bash, and the rest. Then you need to have communication skills because you'll be writing a lot of reports. Oh, yes, you'll be writing reports. In cybersecurity, we write reports. You have to be able to explain what you found out when you finish finding out those things. How do you report it back in layman terms? All right. Then you can actually specialize. You can specialize. So you can do specialization. So it is a high-paying job. It's just that in Nigeria, I don't know if they really, because I don't really like working for Nigerian. I just hope they will change my mind. All right, so for the career pathways, from um, you can start from security analyst, then move to senior analyst, then from that SOC list, slowly, then from there to SOC manager within 2 to 6 years, depending. Then for engineering track, you can do junior engineer to security engineer to senior engineer to architect of network architect too. That's of course network architects, not just architect like drawing. You get. Then you have the consulting tracks. You can start from an associate to a consultant, the senior consultant, and to a practice lead. That's the aspect I love the most. Yeah, then we have the compliance analyst. That's for GRC guys. I told you that there's various aspects. So you can see the various aspects. You have the SOC analyst, you have the engineering guys, you have the consulting guys, you have the governance and risk guys, and you have your offensive security. So every one of these guys here have their parts. You don't just start and become the top guy in just 1 or 3 months. No. Now, for entry level, your certifications and on library experience, you can do it over a formal degree. You can do it professional. You can take a professional course. That's why Network Switch is available. Do a professional course of 6 months, 1 year with us, and then you are going to have hands-on experience. We do simulations that are real life. We teach you how to really do every of these aspects well, practically, and then we mentor you. You can start with computer security because you have to write computer security exams, get certification, and you can also use Google Cybersecurity certificate. Yes, I think I took a Google certificate, but see, all of these ones, they are self-learning. See, I did self-learning, and I can tell you it's amazing. Yes, but you need a mentor. If you want to be fast in this field, you need a mentor. You need someone to hold your hands and teach you. I took a longer time to know mine because I did it on my own. And when I finally got a mentor, it was a long distance relationship. But now, NetSwitch is bringing it closer to you by uh, giving you teachers and mentors that can actually help you out. You can ask them questions at any time. So these are the skills I was talking about. Network security, cloud security, SIM tools. I think I talked about SIM tools, vulnerability assessment, incident response. These are a whole lot of things that you'll be taught. You will be taught. You'll be taught. It's not like something you just wake up and say, oh, these things are just heavy. I don't know how to get them. You will be taught. So these are things you learn. All right. So you learn them. Now, for training and certification, you can actually do for people that want to do 3 month course. I've had a lot of people come here. Can I just get to know cybersecurity in 3 months? Yeah, yeah. So you just know the basics. Yes, you know the basics like networking. Because networking alone, to really teach and understand networking alone, you should take about 1 month or 2 months on it. 2 months, between 1 month to 2 months. And let me see. For you to really know, uh, let me see. Every aspect of it, 6 months to know basically and be able to practice to some extent. 6 months. 3 months is still for basic beginners. 6 months for you going higher, and then advanced, intermediate. Those ones are still there. So it's not that you do it in one day. It's a career path. So you are building and building. You don't achieve it in one day. So for those who want to do self-learning, there are maps that has been set up for you guys from beginner to intermediate to advanced. So you see, for CompTIA, you have to know CompTIA fundamentals. You can do Google Cybersecurity Certificate, CompTIA Security Plus. Then for intermediate, you go for CEH. That's my own goal. CEH is my goal. And then I already have AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, CISSP. Those are big boys. Yeah, like or guy at the top. And if you want to specialize for GRC guys, you can do risk management. That's for risk professionals. For cloud architects, you do cloud security, you do IT auditing, and then you do pen testing. Pen testing is for ethical hackers. That is my own field. That's where I love the most. So this is for you doing. So these are free training programs that are available for you. Free training programs. Free training programs. But if you really want to get to it, personally, you can go through this. But if you really want us to help you, we are available to help you get everything done. We teach you all the basics. We start from what is cybersecurity, take you through the laws and the rules and regulations of cybersecurity. We teach you the basics of hacking, teach you the red team and the blue team, depending on which aspect you want to do. If you want to do a cybersecurity analyst, that is security analyst, that is blue team. If you want to be an ethical hacker or a pen tester, that is the red team. That's the right thing. So we break it down into two aspects. Which one do you want to know? If you want to know governance, risk, and compliance, that's another aspect entirely. Another aspect entirely. So you focus on that. So it depends on which aspect. If you want to do networking, you focus on networking. You just to make it easy for you, pick a niche and focus on it. Cybersecurity is an amazing part. And if you want us to come and teach or create awareness for your staffs, it's an amazing part. 1 or 2 weeks or a month, we can do awareness for you guys. We'll create course that you're going to understand how to respond to basic attacks, respond to attacks, what not to do, what to do. We do that. Consult for companies, look at your systems. We check it out to do vulnerability testing. We do pen testing. We check everything out and then do remediation, things you need to put in place. Like I was talking about the fact that if I'm going to consult for your company now, we have to install Active Directory, we have to install Microsoft Teams, I have to install, change your emails, change a lot of things so that it becomes impenetrable to some extent. And then things you are not supposed to do, things you're supposed to do. We teach you all of that in awareness programs. And if you want your technical teams to now have a basic IT understanding of cybersecurity, we are available for that. Take a 3-month course, take a 6-month course, take you hands-on trainings, like people will be able to break into systems like an hacker. So we show them how to do it like an hacker so that they'll be prepared. Okay, this is how an hacker would think. Because for you to be able to catch a thief, you have to think like a thief. So the reality is this, in summary, from what we have learned yesterday and the things we want to learn today, you don't have to be scared of what you don't know. What you need to do is to actually get to know what you think you don't know. By investing into it, you invest yourself into it. My biggest, let me say, my biggest investment is learning cybersecurity. Yes, it gave me a lot of power. I got to know how powerful I could be as a person. Sometimes when people are carrying their laptops about and then they leave their laptop and they're looking like, I don't know how passworded your laptop might be. I can break into it. Yeah. But you see, having power but not using it, that's the way it is for cybersecurity guys. We know a lot, but we just don't do it. So it's easy for you to just we call it hardware hacking. Hardware hacking, just break into your laptop, even if it is passworded. Then we can change your laptop password. I'm not saying that you should not be caught of that. Come and learn cybersecurity. I'm just telling you the few things we know that makes us powerful in mind and in knowledge. You can break into any laptop, you can break into any system, into any networks. The things that we teach. For the sake of understanding the vulnerability, we don't train black attackers, we train gray attackers or white attackers. Guys that would help you to know your vulnerabilities and then help you to remediate it, like providing solutions to how not to ensure, like for example, you prevent an attack from happening, not that you are the one that will not create the attack. Do we get it? So that's what cybersecurity is all about. So you can actually, I think, let me just read what I wrote finally. It says that Africa's digital future depends on cybersecurity professionals. That's the truth. The market is growing, the jobs are waiting, the training is available. The real question is, will you be part of the solution? So will you be a part of us? Will you going to join us to do what we do in protecting the cyber future? Thank you so much for having me. So I'll be taking in questions now. Thank you. All right.